With US inflation finally coming under some sort of control, you would have been forgiven for thinking that the Fed would start to slow down their interest rate hikes. But of course, that has not yet happened. However, the Fed have most recently increased rates by a further 2.5%, which puts increasing pressure on US banks, some of which have already collapsed. This has caused a little uncertainty within the US markets over the last couple of weeks. And in the UK, things aren't looking particularly good either. UK inflation has not been as well addressed by the Bank of England as it has been over in America, with it still running riot at over 8%. And with interest rates currently set at 4.5% by the Bank of England, this is going to put increasing pressure on households' ability to service their own debt. So whilst overall inflation is falling within both the US and the UK at varying rates obviously, we are still going through a period of essentially great uncertainty. So today there's no better time than to hop into my Vanguard ISA and do my monthly update looking at exactly what my holdings are doing, exactly how much my ISA is worth, and talk a little bit about how the volatility has affected my overall portfolio. So without further ado, let's hop into my Vanguard platform and see exactly what my ISA is doing. I've now been investing in Vanguard for around 4 years. So it's key to remember that consistency is what has managed to get me here. Here we are then inside my Vanguard portfolio, and you can see the overall ISA is currently valued at £16,009.63. And if you flip back to where this was exactly a year ago, it was valued at £10,889. So there's an increase of around £4,200 within that period of time. My personal rate of return is currently sat at 28.88%, which again has increased since my last portfolio update. My largest holding is still of course within the S&P 500, targeting around 50% of my overall ISA value. You can currently see that I own £7,832.81 of the VUSA, with a total weighting of 48.93%. About a month into the ISA year, I've so far invested £430 this tax year, and of course that's going to continue all the way through until next April. If you look at the performance tab, you'll be able to see exactly how much I've invested since opening this account. You can see I've currently invested £14,220 over the last 4 years, equating to around £3,500 per year or £300 per month. In that time, my investments have returned to me £1,789.63, and of course that's made up of capital gains, interest, and of course dividends. The growth graph here shows just how volatile the stock market can be, with peaks and troughs throughout my investing journey. So the COVID dip down here looks fairly small in comparison to some of the major drop-offs, some of the major kind of cliff edges that we've seen over the last year. But that's just because the drops now are far more substantial in terms of amounts and value size than they were back then. Click through to the calculations tab and we'll be able to see a detailed breakdown of the returns that I've received. And you'll be able to see that my current investment gain or loss currently invested is £944.95, which means I've currently got that amount of unrealised capital gains within my overall portfolio. I've crystallised £341.41 through the sale of my Lifestrategy 100 around 18 months ago now, and my gross interest since opening this account is now £2.01. My dividends are actually looking very tasty indeed, and this portfolio has now received a total of £540.16 in dividends in just under 4 years. Now, much of this has come over the last year, but working it out across the 4 years, I've averaged around £135 in dividends a year. Not too bad really when you think I'm getting that just for holding the money in this account. And that would come in no matter really what happens. The total charges on the account in that time are just under £40 at £38.90, of course, all totaling up to the overall return that I've seen into my portfolio. By clicking on the monthly data, it will break down exactly what's happened over the last month, showing you how much you've invested and how much you've returned. And from looking at this data, you'll be able to see that actually I've managed to invest quite a bit over the last 2 months, with it being £680 in April and then just £50 so far this month. But actually the market gain or loss over the last few months, last 3 months really, has been pretty much nothing at all. In March, the portfolio lost, well, including dividends, including interest even, lost £12.04. In April, the portfolio gained £22.12, actually £88.86 if you include the £66.77 dividend. And then so far this month, we are 13 days into May, and the market has gained to me £7.11. So it's kind of gone a little bit sideways, and that's because of that volatility of lots of interest rates rises, lots of uncertainty around kind of inflation data both in the UK and the US, and that's just meant that we've not really moved anywhere in terms of capital gains or growth within any of these investments. So much of the increase in value of my portfolio since really the end of February, when it was valued at £14,000 and around £900, has come from these monthly instalments, of which I've invested around £1,130 within that time. As always, we'll hop in and have a look at each of the individual investments. Of course, I hold 6 of them, and we've got 7 if we include cash. We won't talk too much about that one though, just because it does earn a little bit of interest, but nothing too substantial. We've got all of the investments that I currently hold in the green, all barring one, which is the FTSE Emerging Market just here. So I have invested £2,493.61 into this position. I've currently got an unrealised loss of £168.10, earned a dividend income of £90.67, which means in total I am down £77.43, equivalent to a loss of 7.02%. For the FTSE Developed Asia Pacific ex Japan, I've invested £685.13 into this position. I've made a realised gain of, not really much really, a realised gain of £26.05 with a total dividend of £57.46, giving me a total return of £83.51 or 19.78% in time-weighted return. We've then got the FTSE Developed Europe ex UK. I've invested £1,711.61 with a total unrealised gain of £143.95, a nice little dividend of just under £50 here of £46.87, giving me a total gain or loss of £190.82 or a return of 20.16%. We've then got the FTSE Japan. I've invested £1,237.76 here. Again, a very, very small unrealised gain in terms of capital gains of £11.50. So you could probably get yourself a few drinks for that, not a whole lot more. An income, so a dividend income of just under £30 at £29.78, giving me a total return of £41.28 or just over 6%. We've then got the 2 big ones within my portfolio in terms of actual return, and one of the reasons these are the 2 largest returners in my portfolio is because I've held these 2 positions for the longest, which means in terms of time-weighted return, the overall figure will likely be higher than those that I've held for a shorter period of time. We've got the FTSE 100 in the first instance, of which I've invested £1,711.28. I've got an unrealised gain at the moment of £262.22, with a massive dividend here of £162.83. A total overall return to my portfolio then for the cash that I've invested of £421.81, or a time-weighted return of just over 45%. And then finally, we've got the S&P 500. As I said, the largest holding in my portfolio. I've spent £7,154.61 investing into this ETF, with a total unrealised gain at the moment of £669.34. Another very large dividend here, but obviously compared to the amount that I've invested, not as good as the FTSE 100, but the dividend is £152.38, giving me a total return of £830.57 and a gross return on investment of 35.23%. We'll hop in finally and have a quick look at how many units I hold in each of these positions. Of course, I'm aiming for an overall weighting of around 15% in the emerging markets, 10% in the FTSE 100, 5% in the Asia Pacific ex Japan, 12% in the developed Europe ex UK, 8% in Japan, and then around 50% in the S&P 500. So the FTSE emerging markets, I currently own 54 units of this product, the FTSE 100, 58, the developed Asia Pacific ex Japan, 36, the FTSE developed Europe ex UK, again 58, the FTSE Japan, 49, and then the S&P 500, I currently own 125 units of this ETF. And of course, you can see the average unit price just down here to the side. and you can see the last time that I bought them, the price that I paid just over here. So you'll notice that all of these, barring the emerging markets, you'll be able to see that all of my last prices are sat above the average price that I've paid, which is of course why all of these are currently sat in the green. I mean, when it boils down to it, investing is fairly simple, isn't it? You have to buy something, hold on to it for long enough that it grows, and then sell it for the cash that you've made. And if you continue to invest over time, as it continues to grow, your average price may grow, but so will the overall value of that portfolio. So kind of investing in ETFs like this is probably the simplest way to grow wealth over time. Might not be the quickest way, it's definitely not the most risky way. It's one of the most sensible ways that you can do it to accumulate wealth, but it's the way that I feel comfortable, as do millions of other investors out there. And of course, Vanguard as a platform is one of the best places to do it. So there we go then. I'm rounding up in May, 4 years after starting this investment portfolio and starting my own investing journey. And what a journey it's been. Essentially changed my life, made me consider looking at money in a completely different way, and made me realise that actually anybody can grow wealth for their own financial future. My portfolio, my Vanguard ISA, is currently sat at £16,009.63. And of course, over the next year, we're going to continue to invest in this portfolio cumulatively, along with Trading 212 and Coinbase, hoping to get myself to a position where I can have ultimate financial freedom. If you do want to know a little bit more about where I target my portfolio to be at different ages over time, you can check out this video out here next, which will show how my portfolio could realistically be 1.2 million, collaborating all of my different portfolios together by the age of 65. And if you want to know why I've chosen this ISA platform for 23-24 ISA year, check out this one. I'll see you there next.